On the morning of November 19, 1988, the sun rose over Hayward, California, casting a soft golden light over the quiet neighborhoods. It was a typical Saturday in the East Bay. Mothers filled grocery carts, children played hopscotch and rode their bikes through the streets, and the early signs of the holiday season danced in the windows of local stores. But for one family, this ordinary day would become the beginning of a lifelong nightmare. It was the day 9-year-old Michaela Joy Garecht vanished without a trace. Michaela was born on January 24, 1979, a bright and joyful child who brought light into the lives of everyone around her. Her mother, Sharon Murch, described her daughter as kind, sensitive, and spirited, a little girl with dreams as big as the sky and a heart full of love. She was known for her infectious smile, her giggles that echoed through the halls of her home, and her fierce loyalty to those she loved. She lived with her mother and younger siblings in a modest house in Hayward. Like many children her age, Michaela found joy in life's simplest pleasures, playing outside, riding her scooter, and spending time with her best friend, Katrina Rodriguez. That Saturday morning, Michaela and Katrina had only one thing in mind: a quick trip to the Rainbow Market, just a couple of blocks away. The girls wanted to buy some snacks, candy and soda, maybe a few quarters worth of treats, and planned to return home shortly afterward. It was a short, familiar walk in a neighborhood they knew well. Michaela grabbed her scooter, waved goodbye to her mother, and headed out the door, completely unaware that it would be the last time her family would see her. The girls arrived at the market around 10:15 a.m. Michaela parked her scooter outside near the entrance. Inside, the two browsed the aisles, giggling and excited to pick out their favorite sweets. It was a moment of childhood innocence. But as they exited the store just a few minutes later, the scene had changed. Michaela's scooter was no longer where she had left it. It had been moved, not far, just slightly askew, lying near a car parked in the lot. Curious and concerned, Michaela walked over to retrieve it. As she reached down, a man emerged from behind the car, a tan or gold, older model sedan. In an instant, he grabbed her around the waist and forced her into the front seat of the vehicle. Before Katrina could react, the car sped away, disappearing down Mission Boulevard, leaving her screaming and helpless. It happened so fast, mere seconds, but it was broad daylight in a public place, in front of a witness. The audacity of the act stunned the community. Police were on the scene quickly. Officers interviewed Katrina, who gave a detailed description of the suspect. A white male in his early 20s, around 6 feet tall, with a slender build, dirty blonde or light brown hair, and visible acne scars. The car was described as an older model American-made four-door sedan, tan or golden color, possibly from the 1970s or early 80s. Despite their swift response, there were no security cameras, no fingerprints, and no physical evidence. The abductor was gone, and with him, Michaela. News of Michaela's disappearance spread like wildfire. By that evening, her photo was already appearing on local news broadcasts. Sharon Murch, devastated and in shock, made desperate pleas for her daughter's safe return. Through choked sobs, she appeared on camera. "She's just a little girl. She's not a threat to you. Please. She just wants her mommy." Her words echoed through living rooms across California, reaching into the hearts of parents and strangers alike. The entire Bay Area rallied. Flyers blanketed telephone poles and storefronts. Candlelight vigils were held. Volunteers passed out leaflets at busy intersections. The FBI joined the investigation, and search teams combed every inch of the surrounding landscape: open fields, wooded areas, abandoned buildings, landfills. Tips poured in from across the country and beyond. Psychics offered their services. Sightings were reported from Mexico to British Columbia. But every lead turned cold. Every hope dissolved into frustration. Until months passed, then years. Yet Sharon never gave up. She created a website to keep Michaela's case in the public eye, one of the first digital efforts of its kind. She chronicled her journey, her thoughts, her dreams, and her heartbreak through deeply personal blog posts. Her writing reached thousands and became a lifeline for others who were grieving or searching. Sharon's unwavering belief that Michaela might still be alive became her guiding light. Every year, she lit candles on Michaela's birthday and on the anniversary of her disappearance. Her home became a shrine to hope, a place where her daughter's memory was fiercely protected and endlessly loved. Over the decades, Michaela's case was compared to other heartbreaking child abductions. In 1993, 12-year-old Polly Klaas was abducted from her home in Petaluma, California, and later murdered, a case that shocked the nation and reshaped child safety laws. In 2009, J.C. Dugard was found alive after spending 18 years in captivity, just 180 miles from Hayward. These cases reopened old wounds and raised new hopes. If J.C. could survive, maybe Michaela could too. Throughout the years, suspects came and went. One notable person of interest was Tim Binder, a man who had a disturbing interest in missing children and had inserted himself into several investigations. He had written letters to the families of victims and was once found carrying maps marked with the locations of past abductions. Despite his suspicious behavior, no hard evidence ever tied him to Michaela's case. The years dragged on. The case grew cold, but never closed. Then in December 2020, an astonishing announcement came from the Hayward Police Department. After more than 32 years, they had identified a suspect in Michaela's abduction and presumed murder, David Emery Misch. Misch was no stranger to law enforcement. In fact, he was already in prison serving a sentence for the 1989 murder of a woman in Fremont, California. Advances in DNA technology had recently connected him to a 1986 double homicide of 2 women, also in Fremont. These links reignited interest in other cold cases, including Michaela's. Investigators reviewed Michaela's case file again. Thousands of pages, old interviews, forgotten statements. What emerged was a chilling pattern. Misch had access to a vehicle matching the description provided in 1988. Additional witnesses had placed him in the area around the time Michaela was abducted. While there was no direct DNA evidence linking him to Michaela, the circumstantial evidence was strong enough to press charges. On December 21, 2020, David Misch was officially charged with Michaela's murder. For Sharon, the news was like being plunged into a new kind of grief. After holding on to hope for so long, learning that Michaela may have died that very day, just blocks from home, was almost too much to bear. She wrote a heartbreaking blog post that resonated with everyone who had followed her journey. This is not the end of Michaela's story. It is not the end of mine. But now I know that she is not cold or afraid or hungry. I know that she is at peace. The legal process remains slow and fraught with obstacles. Misch has pleaded not guilty and has not confessed. Without a body, without physical evidence, the case is largely circumstantial. The passage of time has made prosecution more difficult. Key witnesses have aged, memories have faded, and evidence has been lost to history. The trial has been delayed multiple times, and a conviction is far from guaranteed. But for many, the charges brought some measure of resolution. After 3 decades of silence, the case was no longer frozen in uncertainty. There was now a name, a face, a person who might be held accountable. The community rallied once more, holding vigils, lighting candles, and remembering Michaela. Not as a missing girl, but as a child who mattered. Today, Michaela Joy Garecht would be 46 years old. She might have had a career, a family, a life filled with milestones and memories. Instead, she remains forever 9, frozen in time by an act of monstrous cruelty. Her story endures. It lives on in the hearts of those who knew her, those who searched for her, and those who, even decades later, still whisper her name with reverence. It reminds us of the fragility of innocence, the depths of a mother's love, and the terrible price of unanswered questions. In every photo, in every balloon released into the sky, in every mother who holds her child a little tighter, Michaela's spirit lives on. Her case may never be fully resolved, but her memory will never be forgotten. Because some children vanish, but they are never truly gone. They remain in the spaces between hope and grief, in the echoes of justice still waiting to be served. And Michaela Joy Garecht is one of them.